Welcome to this episode 380 of Kodsnack. My name is Fredrik, and in this episode I talk to Sara Vieira. Sara is a developer of clickable buttons, a highly entertaining speaker, and just recently published The Opinionated Guide to React, a book about all those React-related questions to which the answer always seems to be, well, it depends. As always, links to everything we talk about are in the show notes, and if you enjoy this podcast, please tell someone else about it. Talk to someone about it, leave a review in iTunes, everything helps. And finally, tell us who should be on the show and what we should talk about. Without further ado, here's the episode. Welcome to the podcast. Should I say Sara or should I say Sara or something in between?
What was the second one you said?
That's a Swedish pronunciation of Sara.
Oh, maybe it's in Portuguese it's Sara.
Sara. Yeah.
Sara, yeah.
Sara Vieira, something like that.
That's pretty close, actually. That's way closer than most people have gotten it. Now you need to say the name of my hometown. Okay, I dare you. Okay, so the name is Nogueira da Tesoura.
You win.
Welcome to Portugal. It's like sad Spanish.
Sad Spanish, that's a good one.
Or angry Spanish. You can go with either one. Whatever fits your boat better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't had any negative experiences of Portugal yet, so for me it's still...
Oh, no. Portugal itself is great. The language is like really like aggressive version of Spanish. Portugal's great.
Like...
Yeah.
Like the relative. So, yeah.
Good start.
Yeah.
Already shit on my hometown.
Yeah, better do it first before someone else does.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you have that thing where like you can say something bad about Sweden, but if someone else says it, it's like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Yeah. I'm the same. It's like I can shit on Portugal or someone is like, what do you mean? No, Portugal is great. It's the best country in the world.
This is my joke, not yours.
Exactly. You can't use it. Best thing about being gay, I can make gay jokes.
Yeah. It's a superpower.
I know.
So except being really funny to talk to even in the first 30 seconds, for the listeners, what else do you do?
I'm a software engineer, or I'm a programmer. I make buttons, and I make the buttons called actions that make things happen. Okay, now I'm a developer at Codesandbox.
Yep.
Codesandbox is an online IDE. Like if you've never heard of it, but you've heard of Codepen, it's like Codepen but on steroids.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like over-engineered Codepen. That's what I call it.
Oh.
Or Goth Glitch. You can also refer to it as Goth Glitch, like a friend of mine said once. Oh, Codesandbox, Goth Glitch. I mean, pretty much.
Okay.
I'm a software engineer at Codesandbox. It's a tiny startup in the Netherlands, but I'm remote from Berlin.
Yeah. So you were remote even before everyone else was.
Yeah. Pre-pandemic. Oh my God. I've been remote for about two years. In the previous company that I was also remote. They were from London, and I was in Portugal in the beginning and then in Berlin.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
So and you've also just written a book.
Yeah, I finished something.
Yeah, I aim to do that one day.
I know. It's beautiful, but then the stress doesn't end.
No.
I completely underestimated the stress of like actually after releasing it, and I was like, even my boss, I was like, Eva, can I have 3 days off next week? Because this is so much.
So maybe we should start from the beginning. How come you decided to write a book in the first place?
So me and my wife have contradicting opinions on this, but I would rather stay with mine, even though she has a calendar in her brain and she's very sure of what she said, and GitHub commits proof that what she said was right. I prefer to stay with the idea that it wasn't a train from Prague, because that sounds very European.
Oh yes, I can hear
exactly. What is the most European anyone can say? I started writing a book on a train from Prague to build it. It's not true though. I was at my mom's house on Christmas and I was really bored. Also kind of European.
Oh yes.
But yeah, so no, in all seriousness, apparently I started this on Christmas. I really thought I started this in Prague. It was like a stab to my heart. I was like, it's such a good story. So my idea mostly was because I kept getting asked, and I kept seeing a lot of people on the internet like having questions about like what things to use with React. Like, okay, so I know React, now what?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean I have to know all these things?
Yeah.
And how do I find them? And all of that stuff.
Like, we can use anything for this.
And what the fuck are hooks?
Yeah.
And I was
Yes.
and I was like, I could make a book. First, it was going to be an article, and then I was like, and then I have to make a blog. So it sounds like a better idea to make a book.
Yeah.
I underestimated the thing. I was just like, sounds easier, right? Let's just make a book.
Sure.
It wasn't easier. So my idea was mostly to like alleviate. So mostly like if you're a very senior developer, it may have some use to you if you've like never made these decisions and stuff like that. Or if you came from class components and you're just now using hooks. But in general, it's more for the like either junior or intermediate developer, which you have like a lot of these questions that everyone just tells you it depends. Like, when is the best time to use this? And it's like, it depends. No, it doesn't. Like, of course it depends, but like tell them why it depends and what are the options for every reason why it depends. Yeah. And so my idea was basically to answer everything that was like, it depends. It's like, I don't think that's there we go. I don't think that's an answer. Like, I think that's just like the kind of deviating the question a lot of the times, but I get why people do that because they don't want people like shitting on them basically and being like, your opinions are terrible. But as a gay person who went to a Catholic school, I'm fine with that. I think one thing that happens if you work in a startup a lot is that you become like less attached to your code because it keeps getting deleted and it keeps getting like updated. So like I've created this like kind of like, this is me, this is my code. And if you don't like this opinion, that is completely valid. Tell me why and I'll rethink it. And it's a completely valid thing. Yeah. So it's not so that you are like, look at this and it's like, I'm going to use everything that Sara uses. It's more to give you a guideline for things to look for and actual things that have helped me. And a lot of them are things that we use in Codesandbox, which is a huge product. Yeah. And like the state management is the one that I use on Codesandbox. And I can honestly say it was one of the only state managements that I like using. Yeah. Like I actually like doing states.
Yeah, you don't hear people say that very often.
Exactly. Like I actually like doing states. I was like, everyone needs to use this. And it's actually made by a Danish person. No, sorry, Norway. Sorry. It's from Norway.
Close enough. And
so, it's great, but people from the Nordics are not very good at being like, look at what I made.
Oh yeah,
it's really cool. Exactly.
So like, I guess I wrote that. It's probably not very good. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm sorry if you got any bugs. So it's like someone has to do this. Yeah. And it's a really good state management, for example.
That was Overmind, right?
Yeah, by Christian Alfoni. Yeah. I don't know if his name is supposed to be pronounced in Norwegian, to be honest. So he also works with us at Codesandbox. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, we hired him.
Quickly.
So like it's completely scalable. Point is, I really like Overmind. And I think my main thing was to try and alleviate this other pressure that comes from using something like Preact. Vue also kind of has this, even though Vue does kind of direct you places in the docs. And I think that's what's kind of missing. And I don't mean to say that my opinions are the best. No. There's just some opinions.
Yeah, I think you're really good at getting that across in the book as well.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So I had someone who was like, thank you for not calling it React best practices. I'm like, what the fuck? I would never call anything I write best practices.
No. I feel myself dying of boredom.
Exactly. Like, first of all, no one's going to buy that. And everyone that's going to buy that, I don't want that. I don't think no.
You only get people paying by company cards.
Exactly. Exactly. All American Express cards.
Yeah. No, but I really like the whole setup as well. Like here's something you usually have to choose, and here's a good option, especially if I don't happen to have an opinion myself.
Exactly.
Because it's such a widespread. I need to pick something here, but I don't have an opinion yet. What's a good opinion in that case?
Yeah, like one case that I really left it, I even added something at the end, was style components, because it's like a lot of people are like, and backwards that was the same thing, which was like, what about emotion? And I was just like, I really don't have an answer for you. Like they're basically the same API. I just learned about style components before.
Yeah.
That's literally it. If you prefer emotion, literally everything I wrote, you can just replace the imports and it still works.
Yeah. Pretty nice too.
Yeah, so it's like there are some things that I'm like, it's this, but there are others like style components and emotion that I'm just like, I'm just used to style components. Like I don't really have a magnificent answer of like, why is emotion crap? Because it's not crap. I'm just used to style components, but use whatever. They're both the same. Literally.
Yeah, and I also like that instance where you said that, if you had asked a little bit earlier, my answer would have been this thing instead, but now it's this one because of...
Oh yeah, I had to change that actually. Yeah. I think it was the UI toolkit. I changed that halfway through.
Oh, yeah.
And also reach router. I had a reach router before.
Oh, yeah. That was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, I had a reach router, but then I was told that reach router wouldn't get any more like updates besides security. So like I included a link to like React routers. I really like the navigate function that did not exist in the old React routers. Oh. I think. I'm not entirely sure.
No, me neither.
And I really like the way they do, like Reach Router does things is through the component itself. So it's like homepage path instead of being like route component, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like that because I used to use Preact and Preact was always like that as well. And so I was like, yes. This one is the best. And it's also way more focused on accessibility because Ryan Florence came back to it. So it has got a lot more accessibility things to it.
It's cool stuff.
Yes.
So you started this in December of 2019 then?
Yes.
Yeah, that must be pretty quick for a book, right?
I learned Blender halfway through because I was procrastinating ending it. And Blender's pretty hard.
That's even more impressive. Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, not actually. Like, I can make tiny things, but...
Yeah. I saw that. It's an isometric living room.
Yes, I'm still working on it. That counts, yeah. Some Blender things.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, the book is only, like, about 200 pages. Like, I'm going to be adding some stuff, but it's not a lot of stuff. But in the beginning, I would say the book was 80% done in February, and then the world went to shit.
Oh, yeah. I noticed.
That was literally it. And I was, like, starting to procrastinate it, and I was just like, the world is dying. I can't think about this right now.
Yeah.
And then March never ended, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I noticed that. Such a weird year.
Yeah, exactly. And then there were the things in the US which were also like really fucking me over. Yeah. Like I'm not American, I'm Portuguese, but it was just really distressful to see.
Yeah.
Like, and I saw this thing which is like doesn't make any sense to anyone, but whatever. I'm still gonna share it. There was this photograph. There were 3 photographs of this girl like giving a I don't know the name of the thing. It's called a cravo in Portuguese. It was like a flower to one of the police officers, and he arrested her. Did you see this photo?
It rings like a very vague bell, but
and like this was the most depressing thing, and I couldn't stop thinking about it for a week because, like, first of all, it's depressing. Like, period. Like, the girl was literally like being nice. But second of all, Portugal was like every fucking European country had a dictatorship. Probably except Iceland. I think Iceland has never seen any evil, basically. Iceland's just so pure. Like, I'm like, Denmark, I don't want to be your child anymore. Okay, whatever, just go. And Portugal had a dictatorship until 1974. And it ended in like a peaceful protest where the people were actually giving these flowers to the soldiers and the cops.
Oh.
And it was just so depressing because, like, maybe this is a thing in other places, but I always saw it as a sign of hope that if the other person accepts your flower, there's still some humanity in that.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, there was no humanity left. No. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, they are not people anymore.
No, and this is supposed to be from a democracy as well.
Exactly. And that wasn't a democracy. No. That's the thing. Yeah. And they still took it. And, like, I feel like that was the breaking point that I was like, these people are not humans anymore. No. Like, there is no sense of good in them anymore. They just follow rules.
Yeah. What do you do with all of this?
You don't know. I don't know. That's why. Like, I was, like, completely, like, it didn't affect me as a person in any way. Like, I'm white and European, obviously. Like, not to say that Europe doesn't have racism problems, but our cops are not they have
not
feelings.
quite the same.
Most of them have feelings.
Yeah.
Some of them don't. But in general, I would say that it's not as bad. Like, they may punch you, but they won't kill you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them don't have guns. And the ones that do sometimes don't have the guns that work. Yeah. But point is, I think that it just kind of, like, removed a lot of my faith in police, which I never had a lot.
Yeah, but I realized I had more before than I do now.
Yeah, like, I had some. Yeah. Like, Portuguese cops are not that bad. They're just lazy and underpaid. No. Like, then Berlin cops that I've met are not that bad. But and then I started thinking that I saw this tweet that was like, I'm not trying to start a political debate or anything, but I've never been helped by police. And I started thinking, and I was like, I have never been helped by police either. Like, I've called police because I had a car accident or something, but it's not like they really helped me. Like,
that's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've even tried to get help from the police.
So. Oh, I didn't try. It wasn't the highway. They had to come. No. If you have an accident in the highway in Portugal, they're obligated to come. You have to call them. It's mandatory. Yeah. But I was like, this is true. Like, I've never been mistreated by police either. Like, border agents, but everyone has been mistreated by border agents. Like, it's their job to make you feel like shit.
Pretty much.
But, like, I was like, I've never been mistreated by police, but to be honest, they never helped me. Yeah.
Like, no, I've never been treated by police. Sort of.
So it's like, it's an interesting thought experiment.
Yeah.
When was the last time police helped you or anyone in your family?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm going to be thinking about that for a while.
Exactly. So these were all the things that I was thinking. And it was like, it was also like, I feel like you get this small percentage when this kind of things come out, which is like, it kind of forces you to see where you come from and who you were as a child. And all of us have biases. Yeah. And you start to see your own biases and the biases in your family and everything. And you learn a lot. And I know it's still not over and it's really far from being over. But one thing that I can say is that I've learned a lot. And I don't know. This is not about me. So I'm just going to continue this. So point is, the world went to shit. And then America went to shit. Yeah. And so I procrastinated a lot. And then I learned Blender. And then finally, I blocked Blender and finished my
it took some serious measures.
Yeah. I also had like that plush that says everything is fine from the meme.
Oh,
like standing in front of my computer to be like, finish this fucking thing.
Yeah. So
then you can use Blender.
Yeah, except you can blend later. Come on.
Yeah.
So how much was roughly left to do at that point? Was there any particular thing that was sort of the main thing you were procrastinating about?
I had to change. I think the last things that I did was I had to put the entire book to Grammarly, which is like the grammar check thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't very fun, but and in terms of actual stuff, there was the rich router change, and there was also like a couple of fixes in the hooks, but it was mostly use effects. Like, try to explain some parts of it better. Yeah, that was mostly it. Like, I got stuck with like that, only that to do for like 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like getting stuck before submitting an iOS app to the store or something like that. I just need to polish up the edges and package it and grab a couple of screenshots, and then you get stuck with the screenshots for 6 weeks.
Exactly. It's that thing of like, then the last 5% actually take as much as the other 90%.
Yeah. Even if nothing else should happen to be going on.
And the world isn't on fire.
Yeah.
And you're stuck at home. So well, at least now football's back, so that's nice.
So did you do everything by yourself, or did you like get help from other people, or did you have some kind of process around it?
I got a lot of help from my wife in terms of like I write. So I learned English I don't know, it's the usual way or whatever, but mostly by TV because we don't dub anything in Portugal.
Yeah, same here in Sweden.
Yeah, exactly. But they dub everything in Mexico, so she learned by reading and writing. So exactly, it was really helpful. So a lot of the things were revised by her and put into better words and everything like that. I also got feedback from a bunch of people. I asked Nick, Graf, I asked Thomas, I asked Dan, and I asked a bunch of people, my friends, Monica and Carolyn. for like some feedback, mostly on the content, and then I went everything through Grammarly again to make sure. It's like basically to add commas. It's like I got premium of Grammarly, and so I was like, I'm gonna use it. I need this. I can't type. I can speak though, so that's nice.
Yeah.
I have this guy that Bogdan. He works with me at Codesandbox, and when he met me, he said this. It was like, I swear to God, I thought you didn't know how to speak English, and I was like, what? Why? Because you fucking forget words when you're talking, and you misspell things, and I was like, it's because I think faster than I can type.
Yeah, I can't help that my mind is quick.
Yeah.
but I really like how, I mean, having heard you speak the podcasts and at Full Stack Fest and stuff, your voice comes across in your writing as well, which I really enjoy. I don't think everyone manages to sort of capture their own voice in text.
Because I never learned how to write properly.
Yeah.
No, I'm dead serious. That's because I can only write like I speak. It's a real issue for me. It's like I can't. It's like I have issues with authority because I can't change the way I talk and write. Like I will talk to a police officer the same way I will talk to like anyone because I can't change that for some reason. Like my brain is just like goes into the finanza and I'm like, what's up, man? I forgot to file my taxes. And like instead of being
taxes.
Yo, man, taxes, man, what's up? Like going into the finance department. Like, well, people have these like separation for some reason. Like my brain is incapable of that. And like I've had obviously a bunch of issues in school, but after school, it has actually not gotten me into a lot of problems. Like, to be honest, like it isn't a real issue. It's just a thing that's there. And like, if I want to write something like a book, I will need like some help from someone to be like reading this. And it's like, I know what you mean because I can hear your voice, but if no one has ever met you, this makes zero sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you written lots of stuff before? Or was this like the first big writing project?
No, this is the first big writing project. I used to write a lot of articles really when I was like 18 or something as like a part-time job while I was in school. Not school, but like university. Not really university. Like like a weird thing in between. And then I did write some in my old company, but never a lot. And this was my first like big writing project that had to have like a start, a beginning, and an end. Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, those are the hard parts.
Exactly.
Especially
you have to make a story. Yeah. Well, my wife mostly wrote I basically said, I was like, my objective with the end is anyone can learn React, be a nice person.
Yeah.
Like, you can teach anyone how to code, but you cannot undick a person. Yeah. And she made a very good sentence that was quite beautiful from you cannot undick a person. So like, I respect her talents.
Yeah. It's a really, really good points to end on as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to like, I think one idea that is like, it has happened to me and it has happened to my boss actually as well, where like everyone assumes that we're really good at math. Because
that's a classic.
Exactly. And I'm like, I failed math twice in the same year. I am not the brightest. Like, I'm not school smart. Like, I never was. I had an average of 13 out of 20. Like, I was one of those ones that just skimmed by.
Yeah.
Anyone can be a programmer if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing.
But the strange, I don't know if this is the same for you as for me, because I'm also one of those people who I'm not very good at math. And I worked as a programmer for a long time, so I truly know that I don't need to be good at math. And if I run into a problem where it's required, I can look it up. But still, somewhere in the back of my mind, I still feel like those people are really good at math. They're slightly better programmers, for sure.
Yeah, there's always, it's like it sticks with you that you're
why?
Oh, like when someone's like my wife was like, I was really good at math. I had like a 5 out of 5 when I went to college. I'm like, oh, well, you're smarter than me, I guess. That makes sense.
It's like, oh, so I am hopeless after all.
Well, I am a poo.
Yeah, but it's a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we all kind of like, for some reason, every developer, I think a bit of them suffers from imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like we all are kind of like waiting for the day we get found out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. I don't know why it's such a common trait in developers, to be honest, but it's very, very common.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to be able to like start sharing my things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
same here.
Yeah, but it's honestly worth it. Like, I don't get a lot of like shitty comments on the internet.
Oh, that's nice.
I think it's the fact that I tell you to fuck off, and I'm also gay, so I think a lot of people are just like, yeah, no.
They sort of bounce off.
Yes. And like a lot of people who are just trolls are just like, yeah, no. Like, but I do get things that are actually like good feedback or something like that, but like not a lot of like trolling things, which is, thank God. But it did take a long time for me to be able to be like, I'm okay with sharing this code.
Yeah. Or these writings.
Yes.
Same, really, isn't it?
You also have the thing of like, I'm not a native English speaker. But my English is good enough that I can't use that as an excuse. And you're like,
that's a good one.
I'm stuck in this middle ground. It's a sad middle ground. It's such a first world problem to have, though.
So another thing around the book, how did you decide like how to publish it and stuff like that? Was that something you knew already how you were going to do? Because I feel like that's something I wouldn't know if I decided to write a book.
Okay, so I wrote this book in a Markdown file, which was a Gatsby website, actually. And I messaged like a friend of mine here from Berlin who also wrote a book, and it was like, oh, what I did is that I scraped the page with Puppeteer. And I was like, what?
Didn't see.
And it was like, exactly, but it worked.
Yeah, okay.
So I scraped the entire book is a gigantic HTML page that I scraped with Puppeteer that has a lot of like page breaks none. I used Pdflib to add a cover and to add table of contents and everything, and it worked. And I found this library that turns HTML into EPUB files. So I turned all the HTML into EPUB files, and then the EPUB files can be converted using Calibre to Mobi files that can be read in a Kindle.
This is incredible.
All through the power of JavaScript and CSS.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's why it was really easy for me to make a dark theme. Because it was a key.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool as well. You get the light mode and the dark mode.
Because it's just a key. Like if you open the website and put like and theme equals dark, it will just render different CSS. Because it's also CSS and JS, most of it. So you'll just like, oh, I see. You want dark theme, and it will just give me the dark theme.
So the EPUB I read in iBooks was processed by scraping a big HTML page.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes. Also the PDF.
Oh.
That was by a browser, though. That was a running browser.
Oh.
So, like, it's literally one command that says yarn generate book. And then I drag the EPUB to Calibre and export it to Mobi and zip it and push it to Paddle.
Nice and simple. And
it's that simple. Yeah. It's simple to run now.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
But, like, it took me, like, 2 hours to be able to add, like, one page to the PDF.
Yeah.
No, I mean like an extra page in the middle. Like I wanted to put like a dedication to my wife because she helped me a lot. And like it took me so long. Also, it took me so long to figure out how to put a footer that had like the page numbers. Yeah. So long. Because it looks kind of professional. You're like, no, it's a JavaScript function. It's a very dirty JavaScript function.
It's a you dirty JavaScript function.
Very dirty JavaScript function.
I think there's a lot of horror around the processing PDF, isn't there?
Yeah. I did open source this. Like if you look online, you can look for Gatsby-starter-book through my GitHub, and it's basically that. I don't think it has a dark version yet. I'm going to update it this weekend with the latest changes that I made, but you put in a Markdown, it gives you an EPUB, and it gives you a PDF.
Cool.
In dark and light.
Oh, I need to try this.
So not everyone has a reason to not finish. It's like, how am I going to do this? No. It's all CSS, so then if you want to change anything, you can change something. Like the Prism, like all the code blocks are Prism teams, so you can just make your own Prism team. And I mean, you can make your own Prism. I actually made a thing that I did today. Not today, but I pushed it on the internet today. It was on Codesandbox. Converts VS Code themes to Prism themes. And so no excuses. You just paste your VS Code theme. It gives you a Prism theme. You copy to that to this greater CSS file.
No, I just need to finish my VS Code theme.
No, you just copy one from the internet.
Yeah,
that's what I did.
I'm going to go in and start editing instead. There's always something.
I mean, yeah, that's valid.
Yeah.
That's how I made the book.
Yeah.
One very terrible JavaScript function.
That's all you
called
need.
Generate PDF.
Yeah. and you put it up for sale as well through which system?
I use Paddle.
Paddle, yeah.
Because it takes care of a lot of like VAT issues in Germany. Not Germany, the EU. It does all the VAT for you. And since I have a one-person company in Germany, it gets like back VAT thing. Yeah. So that's why I didn't use Stripe. Because they do all of that for you and they have a EU VAT number. So I would say try out Paddle, like if you want to sell something in general, because it is quite nice because of that. Like it handles a lot of the headache for you. Like I don't even know how much they take in fee, but honestly, it's worth it.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, like also they pay you by the end of the month, so you don't have to make an invoice for each thing you sell.
Oh, that's nice.
I know. Otherwise, it would be another like shitty function going through a CSV.
Yeah.
And be like, generate invoices.
All the time.
Exactly. Every end of the month, generate invoices.
But you needed to set up some kind of system to interact with them then, or something.
Oh, they have an a pop-up thing. You can just use that. I just use that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you didn't need a big backend somewhere to handle.
No, you don't need a big backend, and you don't even need GDPR on your website if you don't use anything like Google Analytics. Like I use Fathom, which anonymizes everything because they have their own GDPR when you click on it. Yeah, which is quite nice, and they accept coupons, and they have an API to create coupons, so that's really nice. Yeah,
and you could do like refunds and stuff as well.
Yeah, there's a button. That's it. Like that's it.
Yeah, I was. That's one thing that surprised me when I read the little FAQ about. If I'm a student, can I get a discount? And yes, just mail me. And then can I get a refund if I don't like? Yes, of course. I was like, wow, we can handle it.
I honestly didn't know they had a refund button. Huh? So I was like, this is going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. That's what
and then there was like a refund button. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And now they gave me a change email button if someone like screws up writing the email. And I'm like,
wow.
I know. So easy.
So good people.
Yeah.
They thought of everything.
So the thing that happened with the student discount is that I completely forgot I made that. And then when I checked it, there were like 60.
Oh.
Which like is just one email. But the problem is all of my thing is like divided into like, where are you from? So I can give you a fair price for where you're from.
Oh yeah.
So that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Having to divide people. And also I asked like, where are you studying? And a lot of people understood what are you studying, so I had to like email them back and be like, I'm sorry, but I need your country.
Yeah.
And no one lied, I think, because a lot of people said United States. So and I did explain why. So respect that.
Yeah. So how has the feedback been so far?
So far, like I've had a lot of like in general the feedback has been pretty good. Like I have some things to fix in terms of Mobis and PDFs and all of that thing. Mm-hmm. Like for example, the Mobi file or the EPUB file didn't have any chapters. I think it does now. It does now. Okay. I fixed that. Yeah, that is such terrible code as well, man. Seriously, it's the shame of my life. It goes through every H1. I realize that Calibre does this by default, but I still want to now explain how I made it work. Yeah. It's like it goes through every H1 in the book, and then it gets all of the code until the next H1 and divides it into chapters. And it's the hackiest shit that I've ever written in my life. It uses Cheerio, which is like jQuery for Node, which I've used so many times, and I don't even know why, but it's so useful.
Yeah, it's one of those things you can always find a use for, right?
Yeah, and today I figured out that I can just click a button on Calibre, and it gets all of the goddamn headings and makes a table of contents for it. And I'm like, damn it.
Damn you.
So now I'm going to actually, now both of them have a table of contents. There's a problem where the EPUB, for example, doesn't have syntax highlighting. So I'm trying with I'm just going to get one VS Code theme that's black and white and mostly uses bold. And I'm going to check if that works. Because I'm not sure if that's going to work. But yeah, a lot of things around the PDF also doesn't have tables of contents, but I realized the only way to add it is Adobe Acrobat. And yeah, and I'm like,
surely someone has made a library somewhere.
No, Pdflib doesn't. I mean, it does, but you have to go through each page, and that's not how I made the book. Exactly, because it just scans everything. So kind of stuck on that one. But yeah, I'm trying to fix some of these things. I also want to release it on Product Hunt. So trying to fix a bunch of these small things. And someone also gave me some feedback about adding some stuff about performance. And I also want to talk about Cheerio, damn it. I really want to talk about Cheerio. Cheerio is great, by the way. Just saying. Puppeteer. What's that? Cypress.
Cypress, yeah.
Yeah. I also want to write a short article on how this book was made and how everything is open source, and have fun. Look at my shitty JavaScript code generation mod.
Yeah. That's good inspiration. People always
builds PDFs.
Yeah. I mean, people always imagine that everyone else's code is so pristine and perfect.
Exactly. That was the main reason that I like sharing this type of code. Is I'm like, this is not good. Yeah. This can be good, but this is not pretty.
No.
But it works.
Yeah, this is what we do to get stuff done.
Exactly. You go through each H1 and you select everything until the next H1 and you make that a chapter.
Yeah.
It's not pretty. It's not good.
No.
But it works.
Yeah, you wrote it once and then it runs forever.
Exactly.
That's beautiful code in its own way, I think. Like
in a weird dystopian way. But that's the world we live in.
Yeah. But it won't break down, and it is finished.
It is finished.
It's providing so much value.
Is finished. Yeah. So it's been a wild ride, to be honest. And feedback has been pretty good. I mean, I gotten about 800 and something sales so far, and the weekend has passed, and I've only gotten 2 refund requests, which is pretty good.
That's good. Yeah.
And both of these people were super nice. They were not dicks about it, and they gave me really good feedback. One of them was actually about including something like starter kits, which is actually a pretty good idea with all the things that I use, and adding a starter kit for Next and Create React app, for example, and also performance, which is actually a really good idea to add that.
Do you have strong opinions about performance? Or how?
No, I really don't, but it's more like I've had issues with, for example, having 2 big components.
Stuff like that, of course.
Yeah, and I'm also going to talk about use callback and use memo, but my first 2 things is like, maybe you forgot to add a key. And you may think you don't need that. You would be amazed.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, that's definitely worth thinking about.
Yeah, it's the kind of stuff like, a lot of it's going to be like really like not basic, but like remember this and remember to remove event listeners, stuff like that. And then I'm going to go like more deep into use callback and use memo and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said before, that maybe the book isn't aimed at someone who's really experienced with all this stuff, but I still think nobody has all this in mind at once. So
no, it just happened to me 2 days ago. I was like, Christian, why is this so slow? And he was like, did you add a key? And I was like, oh shit, I forgot to add a key.
we actually fixed a bug related to not removing event listeners, I think today or yesterday.
Like we've had problems with that too.
The first time I click this button, it sends an email. The second time I click it, it sends 2 emails. The next time it's 4 emails.
Why does the data come back and it takes us 2 seconds to render 5 elements, Christian? Because it's doing all the math again. Now it's super fast. Who knew?
Yeah, once.
Yeah, so it's this kind of stuff that like we may know, but we forget a lot as well.
Yeah.
like a lot of small tidbits about like this type of performance. You may not be very, very advanced. I will try to go more advanced when you go into use callback and why a lot of the times that saves you a bunch, and useMemo. I do have an example. For example, I'm building a new dependency model for Codesandbox, like one that allows you to add several dependencies at a time. And it was also super slow because I wasn't using useMemo on the function that compares dependencies versions, for example. And it was running a lot of times with the same values, and it didn't have to. So it's kind of stuff like that. And when you can use stuff like React Memo as well. Just some small stuff like that. I think it's going to be a good addition to have it. Mostly at the end, I think, after all the hooks.
It's definitely stuff I need to be reminded about. I mean, we have a bunch of code that uses useMemo, but I haven't written it myself, so I haven't really internalized why it's all there yet. I'm just looking at it and goes, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, then you put it and it's like, oh, that helps. Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I should just try removing it once to see the difference.
It's all good.
So yeah, let's jump then. The first time I saw you speak was when you were emceeing Full Stack Fest outside of Barcelona.
Yes,
Sitges, yeah.
I don't know if it's Sitges that you say it or Sitges.
I think it's Sitges. I think Sitges. I heard someone from there say it. But this could be a false memory, of course.
Honestly, completely valid. I speak Portuguese and I still don't know. Yeah. It's pretty close, so I can't judge you.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, so how did you fall into emceeing a conference, and what's that like?
So like I had MC conferences before that one, and it's like it's a different type of terrifying than speaking.
I bet,
because you don't have to look smart, which is good because like I can bullshit my way into like entertaining people, but I can't bullshit my way into pretending to be smart. So it's like there's less of that pressure, but there's more social interaction with it, which is also draining. So it's also a lot of like what drains you the most? Is it the fact that you have to permanently be sharp and basically look smart and say very smart things? Or is it the social aspect of it? Because if it's the smart things, then emceeing is perfect. Because you don't really need that. You need to know the basics of the person, what they're going to talk about, and then honestly, just do whatever.
Yeah, see what comes up.
Yeah, see what comes out. But I'm also weirdly good at improvising. So like I may also not be the best person for this. Like when people are like, how did you get good? How did you start speaking? Like, you seem chill. And I was like, yeah, I had a mental breakdown. And then like it got fixed. And I had no more panic attacks when I was speaking. So just follow that route.
Yeah, try the opinionated guide to speaking.
Try getting a lot of panic attacks and then going to a therapist. And then when you speak, it's going to be like, oh, wow, this is easy.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a trick, really. Try something else that's much, much worse.
Exactly.
See, it's not
try to do the exact same thing, but you feel like you're dying.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, nothing's scary anymore. It's fine.
It's good. So how much? I mean, I guess you read up on people and stuff like that. I was just wondering, like, sort of, if you're doing something like that, what sort of preparation process there is?
Usually, I make like Notion pages and a table, and it has all of the speakers and like. A lot of like all the information that I can find, like not all the information, that would be creepy, but like the main key points of information, and also ask them, is there anything you would like me to say? And is there anything you wouldn't like me to say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, for example, if you have been fired or you've quit or whatever, or you don't want me to mention your company because they're not paying you to be there or something like that. Then that's mostly it, to be honest. And then like learn about the talk, try to understand what they're going to talk about. And if it's like above your pay grade, just say, this is above my pay grade. Yeah. But like, here's Rust.
Yeah, to pick an example out of
I only know JavaScript, but to pick an example out of thin air, here's Rust. I don't know how to do it, but it looks cool.
It looks so cool.
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad Cloudflare picked up a lot of the Rust team and stuff to continue working on it, because I do think it's going to have a really good future.
Yeah. Rust is really exciting.
You know, like you got really serious all of a sudden. But yeah, I think that is the main thing, is to like know people's names, know what they're talking about, and try to look information about them to have something that you have like points at least, so they can be like, is everything in this list okay? Or is there anything here that you don't want me to say?
No.
Yeah. And a lot of things have Q&A, so it's like, do you want Q&A?
Oh yeah.
And if they say yes or no, depending on the thing, I'll just be like, and they're getting the fuck out. Yeah, that's about it. Then it's about like the thing. I think the main thing is that you instead of speaking where like you're on for 40 minutes, the thing about emceeing is that like, I've never been to a conference. No, I have. I think I have been to one or two where there were no technical issues. And the MC had to go on top and be like, so I have to say something.
Yeah.
How is everyone doing today? Yeah. So like you have to constantly be there. Yeah. Kinda to like, if there's any technical issues, you have to run. Yeah. Which is very disconcerting if you smoke.
Oh yeah.
Like me. I was like, people would go and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a cigarette. But all the time I was like, my wife will message me if I need to run. She will message me. I'm okay.
Surely.
Surely.
But it must be, I assume it must be draining in a whole different way as well, because you're not on once, you're on 5 minutes every.
It never ends. You know that thing you get when you finish a talk, but for 3 days. Yeah. In that case, it was 3 days. It's usually one day. Yeah. But it was really fun also because it actually had a really good timing. Like it wasn't the entirety of the day. It ended at like 4:30. So that was really nice. Like you could still go to the pool. Yeah. Yeah. They know what they're doing with that conference. Yeah, it's a really well-organized conference too. Like really, really good, to be honest. All the speakers were really high quality. Yeah. Like, it was a really good conference. Yeah. Yeah. I miss conferences. You remember flying? I remember, exactly. Well, that part maybe not so much, but. Oh my God, no! I need to tell you a story about the Swedish airport. Oh yes, it's not a bad one. It's not a bad one, but like, so I had to go to Kenya for a conference, and I forgot to print the visa. Ooh. So I was flying from Sweden, and the next day I had to go to Kenya. Mm-hmm. And I went through the entirety. In fact, I went to like 5 or 6 different shops in Stockholm, and no one had a fucking printer. Which I'm like, okay, valid. So then I went to the airport, and I went to the lady, and I was like, "Do you have a computer? Do you have any sort of printer?" Mm-hmm. And she was like, "I think that thing has a printer." And it was like one of these really old computers that still has like the ball in the middle. That's like a help service computer in an airport. It's insane. So what I had to do was, that thing was on Google Drive, and turns out you can't download things. And if I print it straight from Google Drive, it will print to the thing that says Google Drive on top. And I was like, I managed to open the goddamn developer tools in one of those computers. But then I had to send it to my wife. She FTP'd it from her phone to like a website that's still like on an FTP thing. And then sent me the link. I had to open the link and print it. And it was like a page this big. And for some reason, they accepted this as a visa. It was printed in a help desk shop at the Stockholm airport. This could be anything. It was exactly. At least he didn't say like Stockholm Airport in the middle. But it was like, that woman saved my life, so God bless that woman. Yeah. But like, it was an experience. Let's just go with that. Let's just say. But I'm proud that we figured it out, and I managed to get into Kenya. And I was like looking at it, and I was like, he's not gonna accept this. No. It's like, why is this slightly smaller than A4? Yeah. Because it was just like 75% of the size for some reason. It was the worst visa. I'm still ashamed. The worst visa ever. Yeah. I feel like if that was like the US, they would be like, no. Yeah. I imagine. Or they would have an even worse system. It's like, oh, you think this is bad? Look at our visas. Like an A3, like you have to take a poster with your entire criminal record. Yeah, it's not a serious visa unless it's printed on copper plates. Yes, pretty much. Yeah. So not that was fun.
Yeah.
Really good airport, though. Really nice. Really chill.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Good airport.
Yeah,
saved my butt.
Is there anything in the way of conferences going on for you now? Or is everything on hold until further notice?
I have React Amsterdam and an Oslo one, but they're both remote.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both remote.
So you're going to...
I don't have anything. Also, like, I had got invited, I think, to one or two, but I was like, I am not getting on an airplane. I'm sorry.
No rush.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. It's not that I don't want to. It's that I don't want to die.
Yeah. It might be worth avoiding some stuff for that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I try to think.
Like, if it's not a necessary thing. Obviously, if it's a necessary thing, then yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go to Portugal for Christmas and stuff like that. But that's a whole new problem, because the only flights that go to Porto are Ryanair and EasyJet.
Oh. So maybe go by train instead?
There's no trains in that part of Spain and Portugal. No, I have to take a flight. I either have to stop somewhere and take a decent airline like Lufthansa, or I have to take Exactly, which is like, how much do you want coronavirus?
Yeah. Can I pay extra not to?
Exactly. Can I pay extra to not get coronavirus? Not excited about that. Not excited. I mean, I can also drive. It's just 24.
Yeah, it's nothing.
I mean, it's basically going from one state to the other in the US. If you think about it.
True.
Or like some parts of Russia to the other. This still, I mean, like, Portugal is like 6 hours from like top to bottom. It's like 6-7 hours, whatever. But my wife is from Mexico City, but she moved to Tijuana when she was younger. The bus took 48 hours. And I was like, as a European, this is insane.
Yeah.
I was like, in 48 hours, I'm in, I don't even know, Ukraine.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say
Portugal.
Asia.
It takes 24 hours to get from Germany to Portugal.
Yeah.
48 hours. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Europe is a pretty small place when you start thinking about it.
What the fuck? I mean, I come from even smaller. It's like a 30-minute drive. It's like, oh, it's too far away. Just let it happen. Yeah, no. It's fine. I don't need to go.
Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year I'll do it. It's too far away. Yeah, so now it has been an hour because I was 10 minutes late.
Yeah, fair enough.
Let's not forget. Never forget. This is the hold me responsible in the podcast. Was like, I was 10 minutes late.
Sara, who was 10 minutes late, speaks about. Yeah, that would be kind of Swedish passive aggressive.
Yeah, that's fine by me. As I waited for Sarah, I thought about my life.
Who was on the train from Prague?
It was on the train from Prague and got here 10 minutes late. Which, weirdly enough, it's kind of amazing that my train from Prague was never delayed.
That's
German efficiency.
We don't have that in Sweden when it comes to trains.
They say that their trains are usually delayed, and they're usually like 10 minutes delayed. And I'm like, as a Portuguese person, I'm like, that's adorable.
Yeah.
I was 6 hours delayed once, and the train was 4 hours long. I was delayed longer than the train ride was.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Yeah, but we have serious delays as well, and they always seem unpredictable. So it's
yeah. We have the same thing in Portugal. Yeah. It's like sometimes we'll come, sometimes we'll be 20 minutes delayed. Sometimes you will come at midnight, and you're like, okay. One time I got stuck in a stop 30 kilometers away from my house for 4 hours because all trains were getting canceled, and then I had to take the last train that stopped in every single.
Oh yeah, one of those.
Yeah, because it was the last train. And I even asked, and the woman was like, yeah, you're probably going to have to take this one. I don't think any other trains are coming.
No.
And do you know when you're doing that, and you can see the taxi drivers there just looking at you. They're like, what are you doing, girl? You need a ride.
Vultures.
Yeah. I'll take you 30 kilometers if you give me your soul.
So,
really fun.
Yeah. So are you going to write more books in the future, you think?
I'm honestly not sure.
No. Maybe something else will come up next Christmas.
Yeah, maybe something else will come up next Christmas. Exactly. Not this Christmas, probably. Yeah, probably. But next time I go to Prague.
As we say.
I'll come back. Yes, as we Europeans say, the next time I take a train to Prague, I'll come back with some ideas to write another book.
Looking forward to it.
Same, looking forward to traveling.
Oh yeah. Oh, now it got all sad again.
Yeah, coronavirus.
So if a listener wants to get in touch somehow, where should they go?
You can. I have Twitter. So you can get in touch with me through my website. It has an email link and everything. If you want to talk to me, it's iamsaravieira.com, which may not be the easiest thing to write, but I think there will be in the description. Mm-hmm. It has 2 I's, so it's very confusing. And you can also reach me on Twitter at NikitaFTW with 2 K's. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was
Thank
great
you so much
fun.
for having me. It's been really fun. Yeah. It's everything I expected.
Great. Win.
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.